Okay, I want to go over some basics with you. I really don't like videos in my garage for the obvious reasons. There's all sorts of weird angles and lighting, so I really apologize for like the low quality filming. And also, there'll be staff coming in and out of here, so there's going to be some interruptions. So I apologize, but I got to do what I got to do to get you some video. So Walter's in this crate right here. This is not going to be the style of crate that you're getting him. This just so happened to be the easiest crate to get him in. Walter, cool it. So it's big and open, and it's more like a cage. So I know this is a bit different than what you're going to be having him in. The other thing is I have this crate cover because he does a lot better with the elimination of visual, right? So I'm gonna have you guys get him a crate cover so that he can just really nap and not worry about a darn thing, okay? So he is whining right now, so I'm kind of happy to hear it. I don't want to hear it, but I'm happy to because he hasn't been doing this in a long time, so maybe we'll get a little more unruly version of him today. So I come over to his crate and I lift the crate top up, and I'm going to see, before I start opening up and letting him kind of get him out of his crate, I'm going to kind of see what he does. So if he's laying down, I can move forward. If he's standing up and really anxious to get out of his crate, I've got a little stool here, and I'll just kind of sit myself down on the stool and wait for him to sit. So it takes a long time at first, but it's part of the process. Cool it! Shh! It's part of the process of him, of me trying to teach him to settle. So I had one of my staff members work him this morning, and I forgot to tell her that I leave the e-collar on him in his crate. That actually prevents all this extra whining that you're hearing right now. He knows when this is on, and it keeps him quiet. Cool it! So one of the really cool things about dogs is that you can actually change a dog's feeling of anxiety if you disagree with it. Also, if you teach them stillness. Shh. So if I can disagree with this and no, shh, or actually what I've been using is the e-collar to quiet him, then I can actually teach him to not be anxious. This is the most anxious I've seen him in his crate in like 4 or 5 days, and I think it's honestly because he doesn't have this on right now. So my staff member did not know that, but maybe it's more realistic for this video. So I can only go, hey, so many times before I ruin my own verbal correction. So if you're quiet, and he just whined right through that, unfortunately, I don't really want to do it anymore because it's become completely pointless. Shh. So, basically, the whole premise of this concept is very important. It very much has everything to do with what you're experiencing outside. So if I go to do anything to get him out of the crate, anything at all, and he moves forward, gets up, gets worked up, I am going to stop moving forward. So I start to move forward, he stayed. Perfect. If I did this, the first latch, and he got up, because he was excited at anticipation of I'm going to get out of my crate, I would re-latch it and wait for him to sit back down. You're good. I am making a video, but I warned her that you would be coming in and out. So, again, if I unlatch and he gets up, I have to relatch. I like to start over where whatever created the anticipation of moving forward, I like to backtrack and start over so that that motion doesn't represent move, get up and anticipate, right? Anticipation and anxiety are very much coincide with one another. So if I can deter anticipation which I'm kind of explaining how I can actually start to curb anxiety. So, by the way, I always leave this on him in his crate, because he won't whine at all if he has it on. So, I know you didn't know that.
Well, I did it yesterday.
No, I didn't.
Remember when you were looking for his remote? You're like, oh, I haven't had to use it.
Well, no, I've always had it on him, I just haven't had to use his remote.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because he's smart enough to know that when it's on, he's not going to whine.
Makes sense.
He is very smart. It's very surprising. But, you know, I don't want to be able to, I don't have to keep a tool on a dog forever. I don't want to have an e-collar on him forever. But if I can actually use a tool and that tool reinforces exactly what I'm looking for, eventually the tool will go away if we're consistent in its use. So this little loophole right now is giving him an opportunity to work himself up. Every time I give him that loophole to work himself up, I give him an advantage in finding inconsistencies to basically go back to old habits, right? So if you keep this e-collar on him in the crate, you can keep moving forward, girl. Just do your thing, okay?
Okay.
If I keep moving forward, or if I keep using the tool consistently and I'm blocking his behavior, eventually the behavior will go away because it becomes the new habit, right? And with an older dog, you might have to do this for a lengthier time. Like sometimes we only have to do it for a week or two, but with older dogs, this could take months or even a year of you consistently using the tool because these habits are extremely ingrained in his brain. But when he has this on, he does not do any of this. And I don't even have to use the e-collar anymore. I used to tap him out of it. Now I don't have to. So, what I think you'll also notice is that Leah's getting dogs in and out. He's not barking at them and going crazy. So that's a really good indication of, he's doing a lot better.
Well, I guess I got one thing.
Yeah, he was taking the full line. I don't know if you even noticed it. But yeah, so just be prepared to use this e-collar and have it on him all the time. These can create pressure sores. So basically, every time I get him out of his crate and work him, I switch the e-collar and I move it over to the opposite side of his neck so that I don't let it sit in one place for very long. So every couple hours, this is being removed. And then at night I take it off. So he does not have this on at night. But at night in the morning he doesn't whine. He's exhausted. So I haven't had an issue with that inconsistency. Hey, no. That's that thing he was just doing. I don't know if you can see in the video. He's trying to mount the bed. That's a very controlling thing. He's like, come on, I want to get out of the crate. Move forward. That's what he just did right there. All right. So I talked a little bit about the collar and the importance of having this on him. You'll appreciate it too because whining's very annoying, so you'll be able to block the whining. Now, we'll go back to this concept of moving forward. So I'm going to start to move forward and unlatch everything. And anytime he moves forward, I'm going to stop and backtrack a little bit. I'm not able to show you that example because he's not moving forward. So I'm just, again, if I unlatch this and he gets up or sits up or anything, you got to stop and wait for him to calm down before you move forward. And that usually is either waiting for him to go into a sit or a down. I do not tell them to sit or down because if I can't get them to do it, I am at a loss. I've just lost my breath, right? I'm saying something and I'm not able to follow through. So it's just a waiting game, and this could take you a while at first. So right now, I'm going to see if I can't, the reason why I did that is because I wanted to see if I could maybe shut him up. He's getting himself worked up into a frenzy right now. So I'm just going to sit here real quietly for a second and wait for a second of quiet, and then I'm going to actually let him come out of his crate. Okay? Now what I just did there is we call it lassoing the dog. So I lassoed him up. I'm going to put this on him immediately so I can stop tapping him out of the whining because it drives me nuts. So I lassoed him up. If you struggle with this, he's a big dog. So if you struggle with this at all, you can put the leash on him in his crate. That is fine. But if you put the leash on him in his crate, he has to wait until you say, okay, or let's go, to come out of the crate. In other words, leashing him in his crate is not the indication it's time to go out of the crate. Right? The word, let's go, is. Hopefully that makes sense. So when he comes out, I always have him leashed right now. Eventually he won't have to be. Right now he has to be. Because what you're going to do is you're going to pull up on that leash right away, and he's got to stay in a sit. And anytime he breaks that sit, you'll pull up again on the line. I don't know if Leah told you how to get a dog to sit with this slip lead or not. I can't remember. But basically you just go, let's go, sit, hold up. That pushes his butt back. You let go of the leash. I can also use my e-collar, come, to get him to sit. So sit. That was a tap on the e-collar. Both tools are effective. He gets pretty wild sometimes coming out of his crate, so you might need that leash to kind of reinforce the sit. But what you're going to do is once he comes out of the crate, you need to wait until he calms down. This is really calm for Walter. This is some of the drastic improvements I've seen with him, because he used to squirrel all over the place, right? So now, he doesn't whine anymore usually either. He's whining right now. So right now, I'm going to wait for him. What you will be waiting for when he comes home is staying in a sit, not whining, and looking at you like this. Good boy, Walter. Beautiful, buddy. Beautiful. Okay? And when you get this, you can walk to a door, or whatever door he's going to be getting out of. So those are your cues. I don't have a speaker box set up. Oh, I do have a speaker box right over here. All right, I'm going to do this. Let's go. Let's see this place board. Place. Sit. Good. So he's on place. Place means stay. I'm going to use this little sound box. Gosh, you probably can't see anything. It's terrible in here. Sorry about that. Oh, get a little bright light. Hopefully this isn't driving you too nuts. So you hear this. You'll hear this in his midweek too. Turn it way down. It's right next to there. So then you can hear when I'm using the e-collar. There you go. Good. So, what I'm going to do now is change the camera angle so it's facing this doorway. I think you can see the door right there. And hopefully the placeboard. Good. So I'm going to start walking him to this doorway because this is going to be our way out. Right? So you get him out of the crate in a certain way. You gear him up and wait for him to calm down in a certain way. Right now that e-collar is tapping him out of whining. He's on a 6. So I can really start to teach him he doesn't need to whine to express his anxiety. Place. By being consistent about my e-collar. So this is a great way to break anxiety. As I've told you before, my e-collar is not corrective, so it's kind of like it's like you're poking him. Not, shut up, shut up, shut up. Not like that. All right, so once I get what I'm looking for, I'm going to start walking to this door. Doors are extremely important in dog training. The crate was a door. Leading up to this door is important, which is why we calm him down when we get him out of his crate and make sure he's in a state of mind where he's ready to move forward in the right state of mind. Leave it. So I'm going to start walking towards this door. And I'm going to get some eye contact here. Let's go. Now if I get this behavior, he's no longer engaged. Come. Here. No. Let's go. Let's go. Just place forward. Alright, so the first get to this door, he shot in front of me. So that's him saying I'm too anxious to be with you. I can't. I know we've been doing this for a week, but right now I don't know. I can't stay with you, right? So I need to get him back with me, which is where I said, Walter, come here with the e-collar and the leash. I'm going to teach you guys how to do this in person. This is what it's going to look like. Okay. So once I regrouped him with me, I walked towards the door again. And when I walked towards the door again, he stayed with me and I put him in a sit. So this is what the door needs to look like. He walks to the door as a team with me, not in front of me, not circling me, not neurotic, calmly walking to the door in a heel as a team. I'm tapping him off whining. Oh no. It's loud. Once I get him in a nice sit, I'm going to go to open the door. And I'm going to break this down in phases. Walking to the door is phase 1. Walking to the door is a team. Phase 2 is just twisting the doorknob. Because when I used to do this, twist, he would break and try to burst through the door. So I need to make sure that the twisting of the doorknob doesn't break his sit in anticipation. All right. So he's being really good. I think it's because I've been taking so much time to make him wait. This is an unusual amount of time since I'm videoing. So if I twist the doorknob and he gets out of his sit, I'm actually going to let's go him away from the door and bring him back as a team and sit him and start all over again. I always backtrack the step that they make a mistake on. But I want them to make the mistake if they're so anxious they feel they need to. So this isn't about perfection. This is actually about giving them an opportunity to make the right choice. Twist the doorknob. He didn't break his sit. Awesome. Now I'm going to push the door open. And you notice I'm not putting any pressure on him. I'm not forcing him back with a lot of leash pressure. I'm actually giving him plenty of opportunities to make a choice here. If the door opening made him want to burst through the door, which it absolutely used to, I'm going to circle back around, put him in a sit, and see if he can't tolerate this again. This is really important stuff for you guys because if you don't go outside to work on stimulation with this proper door work, you're never going to get anywhere. So these first few steps that I'm teaching you in this video are actually the most crucial of his rehabilitation, more so than most dogs. So you really want to spend as much time as you can making sure you're not getting any moving forward, anticipation, all that kind of stuff. And then also making sure that every time he makes a mistake and tries to anticipate and move forward, that you're starting over again and making sure he gets that step correct. That was for whining. So he did it perfectly. He's a little anxious about it. Now I'm going to wait for eye contact here. Excuse me. Someone got in trouble out there. So I'm going to wait for eye contact. And when I get it, he's a little confused right now. I'm going to say here, and he's going to walk through the door somewhere. Now one of the things you might not be able to see is how he's walking through the door with me. I do not want my dog bursting through the door in front of me. What I need him to do is be a team with me. Let's go. So my expectation is that we walk through the door as a team. Anything other than that, I don't need to come back and put him in a sit. Walter, get off me. I'm going to talk about the claiming of the body space here in a second. I don't need to resit him here. He just did that on his own. I didn't ask for that. But if he bursts through the door, I don't need to go all the way back to sitting him again. I just need to make sure I recall him back and here, make sure he knows that this is what we need to do through the door. So the only ever time I backtrack at a doorway is at the steps they fail. I don't need to actually go all the way back to the beginning each time. All right, I don't want to stop this video, so be prepared. I want to do this other doorway. It's a little bit more intense. Can you see the doorway? Let's see, sorry. There we go. There we go. A little bit better. Good. Second door, different angle. So I'm gonna walk into the door, make him sit. Hey, I'm doing Walter, so I'll, as soon as I'm done with him, I'll get Pica in. She can just hang out there. You can bring him in through the garage. Sorry, guys. We are busy, and I needed to make this video, so it is what it is. All right, so again, I'm sitting in, this is the same thing I just did at that door. So we came to the door together, I sat him, I'm gonna twist this doorknob, see what he does. That's step 2. Step 1, walk in the door together. Step 2, twist the doorknob and open the door a little bit, see what he does. Step 3, open the door all the way, see what he does. Step 4, eye contact. Oops, I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to push that button on that one. Waiting for eye contact. This is an important part of building pack drive, is waiting for eye contact, not asking for it and pointing at your eye, but actually him doing it on his own. He's very hesitant to do it. He's more eager to do it in the garage. He's more hesitant to do it outside where there might be stimulus present. Right now he's like listening to that garage door. That's more interesting to him. Let's go. Sit. Eye contact. So step 4, eye contact. Step 5, here, go through the door together. Let's go. Thanks, Leah. That's what the new routine's gonna look like, okay? So we've got crate etiquette, gearing up. What I mean by gearing up is putting the e-collar on, the leash on, getting him prepared to go to the door. So crate etiquette, gearing up etiquette, walking to the door etiquette, door work etiquette. Shh, that's for whining. The tap. He's on a 4 now, by the way. These numbers kind of dropped a little bit. So these are going to be important steps in the process of him coming home. In fact, again, they're the most important steps in this entire process. So it's going to be really important, let's go, that you two have the same level of expectations for him coming out of the crate, getting through doors, and you're going to notice that the more time you spend on this, the calmer he is outside. So this guy's really anxious, he's really pushy. Stop whining. Really anxious, really pushy, really anticipatory. So the more we wait for the perfect state of mind, the more we'll capture that, and it'll become who he is, and he's going to take that outside and be able to respond to stimulus much better. So let's go. I'm gonna bring him back in here. So I want to go over one more thing before I wrap this video up. Please. Place means stay. Place is also supposed to mean calm, but it doesn't mean calm yet for Walter. It might look like it means calm. He might appear calmer, but absolutely not. He's very tense when he gets on place. That's why it took me so long just now to get him on it. So he doesn't really like stillness very much unless he's sound asleep. You know, he really likes to kind of pace and keep himself busy and worked up. He's very over-aroused. Sometimes he even has an erection, which is the male version of being over-aroused. So place is going to mean stay, and by the time he goes home, I'm going to have built a better calm association with it. And the only way he can get off this place board is if I say, let's go. Good. Now you notice I'm using my e-collar and I'm holding it until place. He does something for me. Good. So it's not just a tap, it's a hold. So if I want him to get off, I'm going to hold until he starts to get off. Let's go. Good. And if I want to put him back on, I'm going to hold, place, until he shows me he can get back on. Right now, I'm layering the leash into it. I could probably stop, honestly. He's very well e-collar trained. But giving him a little bit more time, you know, the stress that he is under on a regular basis just from being alive, the retainment of information is lower when they're stressed like that. So I'm just giving him a little bit more information to help him since he still struggles very much just getting on place, which at this point with most dogs is very simple. But when the leash isn't on, the e-collar takes the place of the leash. You're hearing how it takes the place. So you hold until they get on. It's not just a tap, it's a hold. But eventually you won't need a leash for any of this. The e-collar can actually become an electronic leash. Let's go. Place. So those are just some examples of how I use my e-collar and the timing of when I turn it on and off. And then really what you can see with him is he's in an avoidance state. You know, he's not really looking at me or paying much attention to me. He's usually a little bit better than this. I think he's put off by the fact that I didn't let him go outside just now. Because usually we go outside and work, but now I'm like, we're doing indoor video work, Walter. This is kind of an example of how I do place. There has to be a let's go in order for him to get off. I must maintain that if I want to be consistent. So he cannot get off until I give him permission to. That makes it a stay. And then I'm going to hold my e-collar on and I'm not going to turn it off until he either gets on place or gets off place in this particular scenario. So you can kind of see how I'm using my e-collar there. Okay. Place, by the way, is going to be used for 100 different things. We'll go over it more in training, but I kind of wanted to give you a really quick breakdown on the basics of place, how it, you know, it means stay by him waiting for his command to get off, and how to use the e-collar to get him on and off and all that kind of stuff. So that's a little bit of a basic rundown on place. You're doing really good, buddy. You really are. Okay, the last thing I need to talk about with you is personal space. And then I'm gonna wrap this video up. And I probably should have gone over it a little earlier in the video when he was a little more amped because now he's really calm. But Walter he's a globber. He globs on to you, to anyone, to any handler. And he's actually very rude about personal space. He'll cut it off. He doesn't regard it as like human personal space is something to have respect for. He just does what, oh my goodness gracious. This is the first time I've ever seen him lay down on his place board, and I am so proud of him. I am so proud of you. Wow. So most people's instinct would be to go give that a reward. Unfortunately, if I give that a reward, he's gonna break. So what I'm gonna do instead is capture what I'm liking about this, and then invite him off place and give him a reward. Quit. Walter, let's go. Oh boy. Sit. And the reward is actually going to be very calming. It's not going to be exciting. I don't want to amp him up. I'm going to arouse him and make him anxious again. So I really want to go, that's amazing that you just did that. Boy. Okay. All right, let's go over personal space.